We're back!
Oh my God, why are you yelling?
Because I can't take the pressure.
I can't either.
There's too much pressure.
Cagesiders, let's start this by saying, someone said that our latest Cageside live shows, because they've been filled lately with so much joy and love and no Gino time, just us laughing. Someone said we're like the takeover specials in NXT. You don't think one can be better than the next, and then they always are. We feel too pressured by this, and we want you to understand that we have feelings too, and we don't like feeling pressured. So today's show, there will be no laughter. Everyone just clicked out. Everyone just clicked out. And we broke our shit immediately. What's up, Sean?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Hey,
I'm in a weird mood too. So look out, everybody.
Why are you in a weird mood, Sean?
I don't know. I just am. I don't know. I had some free time this morning, and I worked on a little bit of a home improvement project. Was chatting with Bill Handstock in the old Cageside offices a bit.
Home improvement.
Yeah, I had to regrout some tile around my back door.
Tool time.
And I just decided to read an article about comic books on another website, and I got sucked into a whole big argument there, and I'm just realizing what a giant fucking nerd I am, which I have no problem with.
You're just realizing this.
No, it's just every once in a while my own behavior jumps up and slaps me in the face and reminds me of what a giant fucking nerd I am. And I'm fine with that. It's just, whatever.
That happens to me, but my own behavior helps me realize that I'm a douchebag sometimes. Not that I'm a nerd, but it's like, wow, I did that. That's amazing.
I used to have those douchebag moments, but those have gotten lesser as I've gotten older. So, that maybe you'll probably learn from that, and then you'll just realize you're a giant nerd later on.
You'll probably learn from that.
I can't promise that you will, but you probably will. I think you're a smart guy. I think you're capable of learning from your past mistakes and growing and evolving as a human being.
The old man sage wisdom.
Yes, Grasshopper.
Well, we're here to talk about bad things. That's why the show's not going to be as good, because we're here to just talk about bad things. Seth
People
Rollins,
are already mad at me for using your joke from the Cageside seat offices for the title of this podcast. People are upset that I did the "You Can't See Me."
That's not my joke. I saw that on Twitter.
Oh, okay, all right.
Somebody his shirt is a very unfortunate shirt. Now, it made a lot of hardy har har. It was a real knee slapper when they originally put it out because he destroyed John Cena's face
with his
karma's a motherfucker, and Seth Rollins will no longer be rolling down on that knee because he blew it out, tore an MCL, ACL, and medial meniscus, which
that's pretty much all the ligaments in your knee, isn't it?
For anyone who's a football fan knows that your whole season is lost. You're fucked. That is just essentially he just tore his knee apart. I mean, that's bad. That's some people saying maybe he'll be back for WrestleMania. No, he will not. There's no way on earth. If his injury is as bad as they're saying, he's not coming back for WrestleMania. If he does, it means they lied.
Yeah.
And it wasn't as bad. Because I know he loves CrossFit. CrossFit is not going to heal his knee in time.
Some have even called him the CrossFit Jesus. So.
Yes. Where's your CrossFit now, Playboy? Oh. No, it sucks. It really sucks, right? But at the same time, I'm far more interested in WWE programming over the next month than I would have been before he got hurt. First of all,
okay.
I think we should acknowledge the elephant in the room. This is why it's a problem that they just let Bray Wyatt do whatever he wants. He ate a man's soul, and then they allowed that man, soulless, to have a match with Seth Rollins. Rollins attempted a sunset flip power bomb.
That's true. I hadn't even thought about that. Jeez.
Not having a soul, overcompensated.
Unsafe.
The soul weighs about 3 pounds at especially with Kane, maybe it's probably 5
it
pounds.
totally throws your balance off.
He's
Yeah,
a bigger guy, probably about 5 pounds.
It's like working with a whole new guy.
Yeah, so he overcompensated for those 5 pounds. The guy's soul's missing. And he just turned and boom, there goes his knee.
I think there's got to be a class action lawsuit in that or something, right?
I'm telling you what, man. I can't believe this. They let a man work soulless. And now the WWE heavyweight champ is out for 6 to 9 months.
That is just wrong.
Unbelievable. Then they brought in Big Show after, which is, oh boy. I swear to fuck, if they do that on Raw, we're done, right? We're just gonna.
Well, Big Show is a proven draw, so I don't know.
Where?
Well, he is the star of the most. He's the star of the most watched WWE Network program ever that didn't air live on a Sunday night. I mean, yeah, that Brock Lesnar guy helped, but it was mostly that show. I mean, they spent a lot of time building show up for that.
It was it was those squash wins over Mark Henry and the other person he squashed. I don't know who it was. I don't remember now.
I don't remember either.
Kane? I don't think anyone does or cares. No, not Kane.
Because Kane was getting the big push at that point.
Kane was unstoppable when he still had a soul.
That's true. And 2 jobs.
Yeah.
One being a demon and another being a director of operations.
Just what a weird thing. So not only did they shit can the poor guy, but then he gets his soul eaten, and they still send him out to work a main event against the champ.
It's a bad week.
They're terrible people. The Authority are terrible people. Okay, so he's out for 6 to 9 months. First of all, first question: does he come back as a babyface?
I don't know. Depends on what they do. I don't think that he's somebody that's going to be like you. Like, I mean, it's not like when Angle came back or when Triple H came back. I don't think he's at that level yet. I think.
Really?
I don't know. I think most of the mainstream fans just kind of dislike him.
This is very much like Triple H back in 2001.
I guess so, yeah.
Actually, when he left as a heel, right? They were doing the 2-man power trip. Now, Rollins isn't involved in anything like that, and he didn't have anyone to work with who's near as over as Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
And
didn't H come back while Rock was gone too?
I don't know. I know he came back in January of 2002. I don't think The Rock was gone. I think he was.
I mean, but he was like on hiatus. I think they were kind of desperate for. I don't know. I mean, maybe everybody comes back to a baby.
No, The Rock worked the Rumble, where Triple H won the Rumble. The Rock worked, I think, Chris Jericho.
Okay.
I want to say. So The Rock maybe he wasn't on TV, but he was there.
Okay.
I want to say he was on TV.
All right, then he probably has to come back as a face, I guess. I mean,
Triple H was a big star.
Yeah.
And he was doing the heel thing, and then he likes to claim he was worried that no one would care, whatever. But they went to the Garden, and as old JR said, it was the loudest sustained roar he'd ever heard. It was a really good pop. Does Rollins get the same thing? It's one of those things. I feel like when it's a serious injury, and it's not just Cena broke his nose and he'll be gone for 3 weeks. It's dude blew his knee out completely. It's going to take a lot of rehab time. Maybe they play because they did have those vignettes, those little promos building up to Triple H's return with the Beautiful Day by U2 and the long, hard recovery. I mean, they built him like a babyface.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they could do the same thing and he'll get a big pop and they'll let him be, a bit. Because it felt like he was a natural babyface anyway.
Right. I mean, part of it is, it's what story they tell. I mean, do you go with, is he going to come back to reclaim the belt he never lost from somebody or not?
I think you'd have to do that, right?
Right. Well, then you need to make sure if you're thinking he's going to come back to a big face pop, then you got to have the belt on a heel, or are you just counting on Roman keeping the 50-50 reaction, and it's like somebody facing Cena? Well,
and they also control that. I mean, again, Triple H came back as a babyface because they wanted him.
Right.
You don't put out those recovery inspirational videos and think that he's going to, people are going to boo him.
But there's also this is just speculation from around the internet, but people are already wondering if they won't maybe do like WWE Network specials on his recovery. I mean, I think the way, as hungry as they are for content these days, I think they'll be hard pressed to not do some stuff on bringing him back, whether it's just YouTube videos or something like that. I think they're going to mine this for content.
You have to put Zara on TV.
He doesn't like to be seen without her, so I mean,
she'll be there. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe. But I mean, I also thought of Roman Reigns. That when he was hurt and they were doing those satellite interviews, and those were a disaster every time. And I mean, he's a much better interview than Roman Reigns, but I just don't know that it's. I feel like let him be gone. He was badly overexposed every minute since he won the title.
He's still competing in the up, down, down Madden tournament, though. Xavier Woods announced that this morning.
I saw the picture he put up along with that. That is the most amazing picture in the world.
There's so much going on in that picture that you just have to sit and like.
Kofi Kingston looks like a lost member of Bone Thugs and Harmony. Seth Rollins looks like a librarian who works out in all of his free time. Curtis Axel looks like he has no fucking clue where he is in the world at any given moment. Big E looks like he is absolutely thinking about fucking your sister.
I think he's thinking about making a joke about Tom Phillips fucking your dead grandmother.
What in the world was that?
I don't know.
He just Phillips' initial response was.
I didn't see that. You told me about it.
His initial response was, "What? Why are you saying?" First of all, where did this come from, and why are you saying these things about me? Have they ever had any interaction?
They kind of came up together in NXT, like when he was still Big E Langston. Phillips was the backstage guy, and I think he was back when JR was still like calling NXT. Phillips was the backstage interviewer, so they've been around each other for a long time.
For those who may not know what we're talking about, Sean did a post on this the other day. Big E gets on Twitter I believe it's just almost middle of the night.
Yeah,
and for
like 1 o'clock was the first one, I think.
Out of nowhere, completely unprovoked, for reasons we still aren't aware of, he says, Tom Phillips, he attaches a close-up picture of Tom Phillips' face, and he's not wrong in what he says, but it's vicious.
And it is funny. I laughed out loud.
Oh, it's hilarious. Let that not be lost here. It's hilarious. But it is just a vicious takedown. He says, I hope I get this right because I'm not pulling it up. Or do you have it pulled up?
No, but I can get there quick.
Okay. Make sure I get this right. He says Tom Phillips looks like the kind of guy. Okay, I don't want to fuck. I'm going to let you read because I don't want to fuck this up because it is fucking bad. It is unbelievable. And it's out of nowhere. Keep in mind.
Unprovoked. There was not a show. This isn't coming out of like a specific Fallout video.
It is though. Oh, go ahead.
He says Tom Phillips looks like he would rifle through your mother's panty drawer, inhale deeply, and journal about it. Which for me, it's journal about it, which kills me. The rest of it is
journal about it.
Wow, that's a weird insult. But then he specifically says that he would take the time to write down his reflections on the aroma of your mother's panties.
He would reflect on the deep inhale of your mother's panties. And Phillips' initial response to this was just ... What? Why? It is as though Big E was on Twitter, scrolling, saw a picture of Tom Phillips, and had a thought, and decided, you know what? I'm just going to say this. He even tagged the guy. He tagged the poor guy. It gets much worse because Phillips decides to counterfire. And boy, is he hopelessly overmatched. Sean, tell us what Tom Phillips came back with.
Tom Phillips just posted 3 pictures of Big E, which we've all seen before, and just said, I'm the creepy one, exhibits A, B, C.
And those pictures are of what?
There's one is him with the unicorn up with like the, I mean, we've all seen the odd screen caps of Big E when he's like dancing and stuff.
Sure.
So there's two of those, and then there's one of him that I think was like an Instagram post of him staring at JoJo through the curtain backstage at SmackDown. Yeah.
Okay. So
his beloved Josephine.
That's not. I don't know. That's not terrible, I guess.
It's fine, but it's not to come back for you journal about sniffing other people's mother's underwear.
Yes, this man just called you a sexual deviant. And your response is a couple pictures. Okay. Big E decides to come back even harder. Sean.
You look like you'd drop a deuce in an activities room at a nursing home and blame it on your granny. I think it's my least favorite of E3 Tom Phillips snaps here, but
Tom Phillips hears this and responds thusly.
There's a picture of Big E in one of his NXT shirts, which our friend DEO described as I can't get it exactly right, but DEO said that there's a crazy uncle at every barbecue that dresses like Big E did on NXT. So he was defending Tom Snap, which is just you used to purchase and then actually wear these shirts in public.
Wow, Tom. Wow.
Which again would be a fine comeback if you were not being
if you were
accused.
A third grader.
And you hadn't just been accused of taking a shit in public and blaming it on old people.
Big E is in a prison yard fight, and you're in elementary school on the playground right now. That's where we are at this point in this little thing. But it did not end there. Sean.
This one, it didn't even bother me to say it. I can't believe this hasn't been deleted. I can't believe he hasn't been scolded. Looks like he wanted to be a medical examiner just so he could stretch out cadavers' orifices.
Oh, man.
He is now accusing Tom Phillips of being a necrophiliac, who I think it's got to be a crime for you to do that to people. If you're an elected medical examiner.
I don't know what the crime would be called, but it's absolutely a crime. There's no way that's not a crime. To fuck. How is this?
He doesn't say that he would fuck them. He just says that he would stretch them out.
Stretch out orifice. That is just disgusting. It is vile. It is just the most thorough takedown of any. Did Phillips respond?
Phillips responded to that one, and he sort of was finally starting to get it, but still was not. He
realized he was in a prison.
A picture of Big E in like a an amateur, I guess. I don't know. It's just Big E being Big E again, and he said, looks like he'd ask to hug your pet, and you'd totally say no, but he'd do it anyway and squish it. Yeah.
Tommy boy. Tommy Gunn. He would have asked to hug your pet. You'd say no.
You'd totally say no.
He'd do it anyway.
He'd do it anyway.
Squish it.
He'd squish it.
Dude.
He'd squish it.
You are a child. Big E's a grown man. That's what I put on Twitter. I was like, someone tell Tom Phillips to stop engaging Big E and just hope that Big E gets bored and moves along to someone else. It's really so. Here's my question to you. Now that he did this, that this happened at all, is fascinating to me. But what are we supposed to take away from it?
Nothing, I guess. I mean,
how uncomfortable did you feel?
Pretty uncomfortable.
It was right. You read that and you're like, good fucking God, Big E. Why are you doing this to poor Tom Phillips? The most, of all the people to pick on, Tom Phillips is, he's the smallest kid in class.
Yeah, he's had a bad, I mean, his career hasn't been going great. He's been bumped from every play-by-play job he had by Rich Brennan down to backstage interviewer.
Yeah, he was supposed to be the big shit in on commentary, and and now they're even giving his backstage stuff away.
I mean, I guess I don't know. I mean, you're always gonna wonder if something didn't happen if like Tom Phillips didn't, fondle Big E's sister without permission or. I mean, I don't know.
Or his mom, maybe.
Maybe. I mean, because that's
shit.
If they were like having a, I mean, if it was a Comedy Central roast of Tom Phillips, you would expect those jokes there, not out of the blue in the middle of the night on Twitter.
Even on a roast, that's a pretty fucking vicious.
Roasts get pretty. If you watch the unedited roasts, they get pretty fucking nasty.
That's true.
Sometimes the roasts make me uncomfortable too.
And you know what though? The New Day are heels.
Mm-hmm.
We forget this because we're smarky fucks who like to cheer for people who do things that are entertaining. And we rarely get that in WWE these days. So in the New Day are so good at it. But I don't know. Maybe that's what we need. I don't care what you do if it's in character and you're just being a heel, right? Like there's some stuff I don't want you to go to.
I don't know if anybody's going to boo them as a result of this, right? I mean, we gave them publicity and it wasn't like, oh, Big E, you horrible person. It was.
Maybe we should have. Maybe we should start writing in kayfabe a little bit more.
Whatever. I don't want to talk about that in public.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like we talked with Rollins. I know we got away from talking about that, but with Rollins, how do you get?
We got way away.
Way away from the "You Can't See Me" edition, and we're like, so wait, what did Big E tweet? This is what happens on Cageside Live.
Oh, we were talking about Rollins. It wasn't Rollins related. We were talking about
how do you get heat? How do you damn get heat if you can't? This is how you get heat. You accuse your colleagues of sex crimes on cadavers.
Of non-consensual sexual deviance.
What in the fucking world, dude?
And blaming things on grandparents. Yeah.
Unbelievably great. All right, so
Seth Rollins, he's still in the Madden tournament. I think that's how we got there. But
yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, and then
I think we were talking about whether or not they would do like backstage, like documentaries or vignettes of his recovery, or the Dread satellite interview.
I don't think they should. I think they should just let him be gone for the next at least 6 months. I mean, you'd think it's. I know in football, I'm not a doctor. I don't know a ton of shit about the knee, but I know he fucked up basically everything he could fuck up. And it's a very serious injury. And I know in football, the season's lost. And it just depends on, if this happened to somebody in the NFL in week 1 or even in the training camp, right? Preseason, we're talking if it's July 31st and someone does this, they're gone for the rest of the year. So it's at least a 6-month thing. And how long until he is fully right again? I mean, is he ever going to be the same again even? I think those are legitimate questions to ask as far as his style, what he likes to do. I don't know if he's pretty durable. I mean, I don't know if this has ever really happened to him before, right?
I was trying to think that yesterday. I don't remember him missing any time at all, really, from like 7 or 8 years ago when he was coming up in Ring of Honor.
It really did look like, we joke about the not having a soul thing, but it really did look like basically just a freak accident. Just landed wrong. Did the sunset? I mean, it's probably Kane.
It's a move that these two guys have probably done together 50 times.
Sure.
Probably. I mean, the sunset flip powerbomb thing is in Rollins' repertoire. He's worked with Kane a lot. He just landed wrong. There's no.
And then I don't know that he made it. He could have made it worse, I suppose, but he finished the match. He completed the fucking move, which is amazing.
Yeah.
He picked the guy up and took a couple steps, which in many pro wrestling scenarios, you count on the other person. There's no counting on Kane at that point. That's all Rollins.
No. Kane can't make himself way less there. Yeah. Full jokes aside.
To pick his big ass up and just walked a couple steps with a completely blown out knee is incredible to me. And the match didn't end right there. He did a pedigree on a chair. How fucking crazy is that?
Yep.
A pedigree. I mean, this is the Triple H thing, but this is shades of Triple H rolling his quad up his leg, which is just imagine the pain that the guy's in, and then finishing a match, and he did a lot, including Chris Jericho putting him in the fucking walls of Jericho, which is a move designed to stretch your legs out.
Right.
I can't even imagine the amount of drugs he did when he got to the back. You better give me every drug in this building
all of it
right now. Man, but yeah,
what do you got, Doc?
Yeah, what do you get that fucking Z-Pack away from me? I need morphine. I need morphine. Oh yeah, so it's pretty amazing he did. But I guess at the same time, again, I'm not a doctor, but you can't imagine that could make it worse, or you could imagine that could make it worse, right?
Finishing the power bomb, maybe the pedigree. I mean, I guess Kane can maybe help with that. He can sort of jump up from the waist down kind of thing.
Well, you're landing on your fucking knee.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
That makes no sense. You fucked your knee up.
Yeah.
Why are you doing a move that requires you to jump in the air and land on that same knee? On a chair. What are you
Especially when the power bomb through the table is a conceivable finisher.
That's a finish.
You can audible to that and say, Kane, we're going to stop now. I mean, I guess adrenaline's going, and he's hoping it's just like a strain thing. I mean, I don't know.
Adrenaline is a hell of a drug. It's a hell of a thing.
Yeah.
It'll get you through.
I like it. I mean, what?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm an adrenaline druggie. So then now things are interesting, though. Now things are very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. If I see Van Helsing, so there's a tournament. That's okay. First of all, can we critique? And normally we don't do this. We leave this to Sheet Sandwich, but the reporting on this story has been disastrous already. This is why Ryan Satin, if that's how you say his name, created his site. Is because the reporting coming out of the story has been maddening. It's great fodder for the rumor roundup. Old Randall Ortman's having a fucking ball of a time right now.
That's sick fuck.
But that son of a bitch. But it's just so PW Insider runs a story and goes, well, we heard from backstage sources, and I hate backstage talk. I hate that fucking headline because if you see backstage talk in a headline, whatever comes after it's worthless. The information means nothing. Sure enough, we heard that he's gonna tape. It's a tweak. He's gonna try to tape it up and just keep going. The fucking not even 12 hours later, the news comes out. He completely destroyed his knee, and he's out for 6 to 9 months, and he's going to miss the biggest show of the year next year, the biggest show in WWE history. That's a huge leap from he's gonna tape it up to, I mean, fuck. This is the kind of shit that it feels like if he had his fucking leg cut off at the knee, they'd have been like, they're just going to try to tape it back together and he's going to keep rolling. That's the backstage talk. Because some guy backstage said that and it was heard and passed on to a fucking dirt screen. I wanted to go screen and then I lost my confidence.
Yeah, you guys, Dirt Screet. Let's just call it Dirt Screets from now on.
I rebelled it, dude.
Dirt Screets report that Keith Slater has a flesh wound and will compete later tonight.
And Calvin Axel. Zach Swagger. That means those three need to win the trios title and change their fucking names. That's the key to all of their career woes.
That's it.
No, so and then it becomes, well, he might be back for Mania, and then it becomes, well, they might change. One source noted to Brian Alvarez, a Wrestling Observer, that, I've talked to somebody and they said that plans or that the show is being furiously rewritten into Survivor Series. And it's like, what? You need a source to note that to you? The show's being rewritten.
That's the thing with all of these. Like, you and I we could get in the Cageside seats offices and bounce ideas off of each other and have as likely a chance of putting out something accurate as any of these reports. And they're
inaccurate constantly.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's like, well, it's also being said that the plans for the tournament could be changed, which again, this is all rumor around. It's why we have a rumor roundup.
Yep.
It's 95% of the reporting in pro wrestling. It's why the dude made a site. And the problem with that guy's site is it's not viable to get scoops that with reliable information that you can report on strong and feel good about, and still be interesting. The big scoops are Big Rick won't be in Lucha Underground Season 2 next year.
Right.
Wow. That's a big hitter. Versus WWE furiously rewriting programming, Survivor Series, the tournament could be scrapped. Who even knows? And it's all, none of that's even, it's like they had, it doesn't mean a fucking thing. Exactly. I was hesitant to even publish that he might be hurt.
Yep.
Because I said, I was talking to Handstock in the Cageside office, I was going, if it's will appear to. Everyone appears to be hurt in every match.
Right.
And if he's not hurt, then I just did a whole story that doesn't mean anything.
Right.
Yeah, that's the business of...
You're supposed to appear to be hurt.
Yeah, Rollins appears to injure himself. Well, so did Kane. He went through a fucking table. Like, everyone appears to injure themselves. And if he's not hurt, it doesn't mean anything. But he made me feel better about how to word it, and it looked so obvious. And then, okay, so we'll reach out to WWE for comment, and we'll see what happens. And that made me feel good enough about it to run a story. The story did really well, a lot of good hits. So I'll whore for hits. Cagesiders. I will do that. I need to make money. So I will do stories that I know will get hits, and they're just bullshit stories. But I do have a certain level of, I don't want to say professionalism or even integrity, but, you know, we're not just going to push shit out there just to push shit out there. That's what that other stuff is. These sites that have 1 million stories a minute that all say backstage talk, someone might have said plans maybe, likely, could, apparently change. Will you just shut the fuck up? You're doing nothing but harming the conversation at that point. No, none of you know anything. You're just saying words. It's fucking maddening. Anyway.
Well, most of them loop back on themselves. I mean, it's like, and we just had a conversation about this after the last Cageside Live, where we were talking about what we were willing to do to get hits versus what drew us to doing this job in the first place, which is to not be one of those sites that just like prints quotes from interviews with no context and writes these circular.
We won't do that. Yeah.
I mean, if we don't have something to say about it, we won't. Well, we won't post it. Right.
Our editorial strategy is we'll do the cutesy meme shit, right? The little small posts that are viral, so to speak, because they get hits. But
and that's the business these days.
That is the business. We're in the business of making money, which is a good thing.
All about social.
It's a good segue to the tournament that we're going to talk about in a second, and the batshit insane ideas some people seem to have for that. That's some craziness out there, Sean. Oh boy,
I know it, man.
But you know, we'll do the, you know, like I've taken to doing a very good interaction is what I say when I see people on Twitter and they're, you know, someone said a year ago today, Rusev defeats Zack Ryder. And Ryder responded and said, he injured me. And then Rusev responded and said, a year ago, you deserved it. That's fucking dope. There's no story there. There's no story to be had there. Right. There's no big breaking huge thing. It's just, that was a good interaction. So I put a very good interaction to make clear that it's just a cool little cutesy thing. Put it in a fan shot, put it up on the site. And people are going to go, they're going to see that, they're going to think the same thing I did. They go, oh, that's cool. Is that hard-hitting journalism? No. Is that like this big, you know, it's not like a story that's happening and we help push it out to you and make you, or help you understand what's going on within it. No, it's just a cutesy little thing. And it, you know what, did good numbers for us. Mm-hmm. So it's like, that's just the nature of the beast.
I mean, we are an entertainment blog. So if we can, you know, if we can throw a joke on something. Yeah,
is we are not bound by the same shit that so many others are. I'm not a reporter.
Right. We don't pretend to be. Yeah.
I'm a fan. That's what we do. We're fans. We provide this awesome place for people to talk about wrestling, and we'll pass along news to you. We'll help disseminate it. We'll break it down. We'll figure it out. We'll talk about stuff. We'll have a bunch of cool features. We'll have our reviews and recaps of stuff. We've built something pretty cool here, man. We got a lot of fucking variety on the site. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So. But yes, we do have to do things that make money. Just like WWE does things that make money, they have to. Which is my segue into please, thank you. Please stop telling me that Finn Balor should win the tournament at Survivor Series. If it's a tournament, because backstage talk. Please stop telling me Finn Balor should be the one to win that. Because that is just as valid a choice as motherfucking Eva Marie. And probably a worse choice.
Eva Marie, I'm not going to start. Go ahead.
Do it. What were you going to say? No, I want to know the words that were getting ready to come out of your mouth.
She would get a better response if she showed up and won the tournament than Finn Balor.
She would get a response is the key. I mean, our buddy Tape Machine's like, you know, you want to know how many people watch NXT? There's a Providence match with Lucha Dragons versus Samoa Joe and Finn Balor. The difference in response, staggering. I want to make it clear. I'm not saying that I don't think that Finn Balor I'm calling him that. That's right.
I know you're getting it over already. I can tell. You're like fucking Austin with this shit. You just come up with nonsense and get it over.
That's right. I'm not saying that he can't be a WWE champion someday. I gotta stop saying the gimmick like that because I'm starting to just do it normally and I hate it.
You should save it. You should save it for it should be. You should save it.
It should be special. Yeah, that's the key. I got all these gimmicks at work, and it's don't beat him into the ground like we did Big Ass McStrongman. But I'm not saying that he can't be a great WWE champion someday. I'm not saying it's not a good idea to help or to put plans into place to make him a champion someday. I'm saying it is a monumentally stupid idea to do it now or to pretend like it is even can you imagine? Okay, the problem that happens is people think with their heart.
Mm-hmm.
They think with their own personal bias, and they're completely unable to remove themselves from that. They have an emotional response to Finn Balor, and they just, okay, he's great. I think they should put the title on, make a new star, and then they find ways to support their own argument. Okay, so they go, well, yeah, but they need to make new stars. The ratings are no good with the people that they've been using. They take all these things that support their stance while ignoring all the things that don't.
Right.
Please understand that. So when Vince doesn't do it, they get all mad about it. Okay, but
that's
please
the
understand.
Problem, right? You can fantasy book the shit out of whatever you want, but don't act like you had any reason to expect that was going to happen, or that it made any kind of sense for anybody other than you as a fan.
Exactly. There's a really good sporting example that occurred very recently in the World Series. I don't know how many of you are baseball fans, but Terry Collins in game, what was it, 5? Yeah, game 5 of the World Series. Matt Harvey, the starting pitcher for the New York Mets, the ace, okay? He pitches 8 scoreless innings. He's lights out. He's just destroying the Royals. And they go to getting ready to go to the 9th. The fans are cheering for him. Harvey, Harvey, Harvey. Harvey goes into the dugout. He goes up to his manager, and I think his name's Terry Collins.
Yep, you're right.
And he tells him, you're not taking me out. I'm going back in the game. Because Collins is going to put in a man named, I think, Familia, their closer, which is what you do in that situation, right? Because Harvey's already thrown over 100 pitches. There are all these whatever. And it's emotionally, the emotional response is to put Harvey back in the game. Because everyone was very emotionally attached to the idea. Let him close it out. He's our guy. He's our ace. He's our starter. They call him the fucking Dark Knight in New York. Like, he's a really big deal. They want to watch him finish this game out. And he is in the moment too. He's caught up in it all. He wants to go finish the game. He tells the manager that. The manager allows him to go back in the game. He walks a guy, gives up a double. Suddenly it's a 2-1 game. They finally bring Familia in. He comes in. He's already behind the 8 ball. He gives up a run, 2-2. 5 innings later, or whatever it was, the Royals end up winning the World Series. They just blow the roof open. Collins admits later that the emotional nature of the situation got to him, that he allowed the fans, Harvey, the moment to overwhelm him just enough and to influence his decision-making process. Now, this is a disaster. This is equivalent to Vince allowing some fucking fantasy booker to convince him to put the title on Finn Balor. The reason this is a disaster is because Terry Collins is employed precisely for the reason not to let that emotional response control the decisions he makes. Because the right decision was to take Matt Harvey out of the game. The right decision would be to ignore the chance, ignore the pleading player in front of you, to tell him, you know what, I understand, I appreciate it, it's great that you want to go back in, it's not the right call for the team. And if he takes him out of the game, and it works out, which it almost certainly would have, there are all these things that go into it, and I'm not going to try to give you a big thing on baseball. I'm not even a huge baseball fan. I'm just learning all this myself, having gotten into it this very postseason. But he'd thrown over 100 pitches. He had already been on a pitch count throughout the season. It was a source of great controversy because he'd had a big surgery on his elbow. Mm-hmm. This was like the 4th time through the lineup, and the Royals are a relentless offensive team. They're going to get to you at some point. So if it's ever going to happen, this is when it's going to happen. It's all these things that come together, and you go, yeah, emotionally, The feeling you have, put him back in. Let him finish the game. It'll be a great sports moment. But the cold, calculated logic that you need as a manager to go, you know what? It's not the right call. You can't do this. And you're going to piss off everyone in that building is going to be really fucking upset when the closer's coming in and Harvey's not. And they went nuts when he went back out to the mound. And they lost the game, and ultimately, because of it, the World Series. Mm-hmm. This is the same thing. As much as you hate, as a fan, to sit here and go, Rollins isn't the champion, there's a million possibilities. And as a fan, you're undoubtedly salivating at all these possibilities. You're going, it could be an NXT person. It could be Daniel Bryan could return and win the title. Fucking anything. Stone Cold Steve Austin could lace up the boots and win the title. Fuck, anything could happen. It's just this great moment where you could, all the possibilities in your head are possibilities, seemingly. Vince McMahon is Terry Collins. Vince McMahon has to sit there and go, everything rides on this. If I'm wrong, we're fucked. If Terry Collins is wrong, the season's over. You don't get any more chance. That's it. You're done. That's what happened. And now they're fucked because he let himself be influenced and caught up in the emotional moment. Vince McMahon cannot do this. So as much as you want Finn Balor is not the right guy. Finn Balor will walk a dude and give up a double, and it'll be a tie game and all whatever. I'm not, whatever. The right call is Roman Reigns. Boo all you want. That's the right call. Be upset all you want. That's the guy. It's just how it is. Talk to me, Sean, because I've just been talking for 10 minutes. So
what are your
thoughts here?
I don't know that. I mean, I think there's a few different ways you can go here. Roman is a right call. They've invested all this time and energy in him. He seems to be catching on with everybody in a way that he wasn't in January of this past year. So, but there's a few calls you could make. I would agree. I absolutely agree. And out of the Vince is good at what he does. We don't always like it, but they wouldn't be in business. They wouldn't.
He's a billionaire.
Yeah. Maybe he should be a multi-billionaire, whatever the line is. I don't know.
He's now a millionaire who should be a billionaire, whatever.
Whatever. He's not an idiot. And He's been in this business his entire life, and he knows that this is not the moment when you're going to debut somebody out of nowhere. And look, I love NXT more than most people on earth, but it's nowhere in relation to crowning a new champion at Survivor Series.
You're using a title to make a guy, and that's not
right.
You don't do that with your top belt.
That's why Reigns is a right answer, because they have spent all this time building him.
He has done nothing but work for that very thing.
There are backstage sources that say that he was going to win the title anyway, even if Rollins hadn't gotten hurt.
Yes.
So that's a right answer. I mean, John Cena coming back is not to me, that's never a wrong answer.
Hang on.
I don't want to see it, but it's not a wrong answer.
So you're saying there's more than one answer here, as opposed to there's one very. To me, it looks.
Even if you go with the Mets, but even if you go with the Mets analogy, he could have. I mean, Familia had just blown a save the night before, but he could have gone to a different one.
Not his fault.
No, I'm just saying. There's multiple answers. Collins' main error is admitting that the emotions got to him. He should just say, "That was my fucking call. This is my job, and I made it." Fuck off. That's what the CEO of your team should do.
No, he should have said that, but it should have been if he thought it was the right decision. His saying the emotions got to me means I didn't think it was the right call, but I made it anyway.
Right.
His thing is if I thought it was the right decision. That's what it should have meant. If you think it's the right call, put him back in the game. And if he loses, and that's what you thought.
You own that.
But yeah, you own that. But that's not what happened.
No.
And so you know what I mean? So I'm just saying, I think it's very clear in that moment that you go to Familia. You don't go to Bartolo Colon.
No, you certainly don't go to Bartolo Colon. You go to a setup man. I don't know. We don't want to turn this into baseball. But
I'm just saying, you're saying there's a right answer. I'm saying, but Roman Reigns is Familia. That's the guy. It's so clear at this point to me that there's one answer here. It's Roman Reigns. There's no other real option to me. So you're saying that there are other options.
I'm saying
who are the other options?
Cena is one.
Oof, God. Fucking God. You're right.
Your ratings are in the shitter. You got to make sure that Wall Street didn't like your last financial report about your subscription numbers staying relatively flat. You got to
never do.
No, but the stock usually goes down that day and then bounces back, and it stayed kind of down. That was not well. That financial report was not well received. My using the word rosy in the headline notwithstanding. I don't know. I what do I fucking know? Who do I look like? Keith Harris?
Don't bury yourself here.
So yeah, I mean, I don't.
So
How is Cena ever the wrong? I mean, we talked about it. He's one of the best pro wrestlers ever. How is putting him front and center when your brand is in crisis a bad idea?
And he's still their top draw.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's my favorite call. I think there'd be some storytelling challenges to having done that, but it's not. I would understand if they did that.
It's certainly a better call than Finn Balor.
Exactly.
So who else then? You said a right answer? Is it just those two?
No, I mean I if you wanted to make the Finn Balor, I can't do it the way you can. So I'm just
Balor.
Finn Balor. I'm gonna say it like William Regal. Finn Balor.
Bellator.
That's how CM Punk says it. I don't even know what that means. I think you could, if you wanted to go with an out of nowhere pick, you could put the belt on Owens and have Reigns chase him immediately. That's
double champ, IC and World. Fuck, that put him over.
I mean,
you need a top heel. Reigns has got to fight. Reigns has got to have some program to start.
Yep. So that's those. To me, those are the three choices that you could go with.
Owens is a great heel, and they've treated him like that. For the most part, I mean, he's gotten lost in the shuffle a time or two. You certainly don't act like a Ryback program.
We went through the horrible rumor period where everybody was convinced that Kevin Dunn hated him because he had a belly, but that's obviously proven to not be a long-term problem.
Well, they do dislike that he looks the way he does. There's no question about that. But
they see his value in spite of it.
Exactly. Look, right. I cannot like a lot of the people that I cover. If it makes money, I'm gonna cover it. Yeah. It's the same thing. I mean, they're in the business of making money. If a guy makes some money, I mean, yeah, there are certainly times when it's not worked out that way and when petty personal nonsense has gotten in the way. I mean, no one's perfect, but for the most part, yeah, if this is what you got to do, it's what you got to do. You make it work. What do you think of Brock Lesnar? What do you think about calling Brock and going, hey, man?
Well, we had this conversation before where it was several CSLs back where you were like, what's the one thing you would do to change ratings or to try to change ratings? And my answer was back the truck up to Brock's door.
Yes.
If you can really get him to I don't think now is the right time to have him hold the belt the way he held it last year. I don't think you can have him show up and win it and disappear for 3 months. If he's willing to even just work every other Raw and throw a match in there once a month, in addition to a pay-per-view match, maybe, then he's not a bad call either. But I don't see him doing that, and I don't see where the story makes sense to have him be that guy.
You know
the absent champ right now.
You know what sucks? The timing is awful, no matter what time something like this happens. And let's be clear, I haven't been a big Rollins fan throughout his run. I think it's left a lot to be desired in a lot of ways. But it's awful that he got hurt. It sucks. The timing's terrible, yeah, but it's just, let's just put that out there. But yeah, the timing is bad too, because what better time would there be to have Bray Wyatt win the belt? He ate Undertaker's soul.
Mm-hmm.
And we're at a point where we're just talking about that as though it's a real thing.
Well, that's shout out to Tanya in her SmackDown recap too. She took issue with the fact that this is a man who ate 2 souls over the last week, called down thunder, lightning, and fire, but still struggled to beat Lucha Dragons last night.
He's just in a regular match with Lucha Dragons and the primetime players.
I didn't think when I watched the highlights of SmackDown, but as soon as she said it, I was like, holy shit. Yeah, that's stupid.
It's pretty amazing. But as I say, so he should be at the height of his powers.
Yeah.
Never, right? He ate 2 souls and consumed 2 of the most dominant forces in history, at least in kayfabe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he just had a mega feud with Roman Reigns that they blew off at Hell in a Cell, and Reigns beat him clean.
That he lost cleanly, yeah.
The timing sucks because it was an awesome match and a good feud, and I don't. You know, our buddy, a.k.a. the Masked Man, called it Rock Austin level, which is hyperbole on a new plane. But it's not that, but it's certainly you could get there eventually. I think and we talked about that. I think those two should feud for years to come. That's a WrestleMania main event. Well, now look at what we that's what we said, right? Well, now look at what the fuck we have here. Bray Wyatt has 3 big old dumb monsters behind him. McBig as shit, Harper, and Rowan. He consumed Undertaker and Kane. Why not just let Undertaker diss a fucking peer? Don't bring him back for Survivor. Don't bring him back. And then at Survivor Series, put the belt on Bray Wyatt as the big heel. Fuck, he's unstoppable. How's anybody going to stop him? He's got these big-ass bastards doing whatever he wants to save him anytime he needs it. It writes itself. And Roman Reigns is the hero to conquer these people. It just sucks he already did that. He just did that. So it's like, man, the timing's bad because they could have did that and he could have culminated it by conquering him at WrestleMania. Son of a bitch, the timing's just wrong to do so. And I don't think that they would be confident with Bray Wyatt taking the time. And maybe it wouldn't be the right time, and maybe this is just a fantasy booking idea that's also not sound. But I feel like it sets up your top heel and your top babyface for all these years to come. And your top heel is in a position right now. He just ate Undertaker and Kane's souls. He's got his big guys. He's in that spot. He's right around that spot where you'd want to put a title on him, where you'd want to do a big program like this with him. And Reigns is right at that spot. Like you said, he's getting over everything they did. They put him with Ambrose and they had these tags and they did all these things and they had him beat Wyatt and he's getting over as the top babyface.
Yeah.
Now Cena's out. I mean, everything's kind of come together for exactly this to happen, but it just happened.
And a couple things. One, they're too invested in Taker's return at this point. You can't backtrack it.
You don't think so?
No, they just released 16 shirts for him today, celebrating his 25th anniversary at Survivor Series. He's going to be there. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm going to do a post on it after we're done here.
Okay.
So that's one thing. I mean, they're too far. That's as soon as they ran that promo.
Well, no, you could do that in the tournament though, because it's going to be a tournament.
True.
And you beat him.
Yeah.
Because interference. Because if they're still going to set up for him versus Big Ass McStrongman, which is something they could do. They were thinking about doing it anyway. Ugh. So you set that up here and run that at Mania. If you do that to get to why you could have a Wyatt family. Well, see, I don't know because then it's who do you headline with?
I would stay the course with Wyatt as it is now. Whatever because I think they do have plan. I mean, this is not. They're building him to be Undertaker's replacement. I think for the next 20 years to be the supernatural bad guy until the cheers get too loud, and then he's the supernatural good guy. So I think you stay.
Very poetic line. Good job.
I think you stay the course with him. I mean, I think you could. I think he's probably. There's a case to be made where if they change the story up enough, you could put both of them in the tournament. You could build off of that. I actually don't hate that idea at all. I mean, but I would probably stay the course with Bray with whatever plans they have for him now. And if you want to build a main event heel for the next 10 years, I would use this opportunity to do it with Owens. You could you would make him forever, even if he just held the title for a month, to say that his story is within a year, he debuted in the company, won every belt in the company, basically. And, then you're right. I mean, he's done. He's set as somebody who's believable as a main eventer forever.
So we can agree. Okay, I think the Wyatt stuff is a good idea.
I agree.
In theory.
Mm-hmm.
We both agree that they're not going to do that, right?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. So then, what do we think they are going to do? How about that? What's the most realistic thing?
I think they're going to. I think my guess is that the final will be Reigns versus Owens, and Reigns will win.
Okay. So you think, and then that's the first program? Because the rumor right now is, and they just ran this on SmackDown, was Ambrose versus Owens. And Ambrose got the promo, and they had set up for an Intercontinental title program. Now, granted, that was before Seth Rollins blew his knee out, and that's, backstage talk on rewritten plans. So, I mean, everything's kind of fluid.
It's been rewritten 6 times since we started this podcast.
It's just so funny, too. It's like, that's your big scoop? Of fucking course the show's being rewritten. The champ just had to vacate the title. What a dipshit thing to throw out there like it's some big thing.
And you'll get 16 posts on, they're considering Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, or like they're making
Of course they are.
Yeah. I mean,
they called John Cena. No shit, they called John Cena.
They probably were calling him anyway because
Exactly. Well, he's supposed to be back for something that's before TLC now. Maybe it's like Tribute to the Troops. I don't know. There's a house show date or something that he's coming back for.
If he's taping a TV show, he probably can't come back.
No, exactly.
So if that's the case, and we still don't know what the case is, all we know is what we can see on social media. And him and Nikki, she's injured. They're going to James Bond parties.
And he tweeted something out about testing wasn't good on the first day or some bullshit. I don't know.
Yeah, we're fucking trying to mine info, but that he's being so secretive does make you think maybe it could be a show, and he's told to be quiet.
Johnny C's Fitness Fun Time.
That would probably get over as the problem.
It's gonna be a big hit. Johnny C's Fox Fitness Fun Time.
You know what I think? If you don't do the Wyatt stuff, I also think another good idea is a callback to 1998. Deadly Game. The Rock versus Mankind in the final. Now, they recreated the Montreal Screwjob. The Rock turned heel, aligned with Vince McMahon, and they created the corporation. Roman Reigns was endorsed by The Rock at Royal Rumble and booed out of the building. Roman Reigns has been turned on by fans, just like The Rock. Roman Reigns' career path has looked an awful lot like The Rock, at least as far as that goes, where they wanted us to cheer him, and we booed him. Die, Roman, die, basically, just without saying it because it's not the 90s. And finally, he turns, right? He turns, he joins up with the fucking bad guys, whatever. Well, that happened before, right? But this is whatever.
Right.
You can work bullshit around. It is just wrestling. And, dude, they could get to the final. And here's what I think they'll do versus what they could do. I think they should recreate Deadly Game. And I think they should turn him heel and give him the belt and align him with the Authority. That, you know what? We were wrong. We thought Rollins was the guy. He couldn't fucking cut it. He's a B-plus player just like Daniel Bryan. He's got a B-plus body. Couldn't whatever. You know, they'd find a way to make it whatever. That starts Rollins' face turn. Rollins comes back as the face to prove them wrong that he's not a B-plus player. And at some point, he's going to have the Triple H match. They spent all that fucking time building the damn thing. And so, Roman, you're the guy. We always actually believed in you, and we're sorry that we didn't, and maybe, you know, whatever. And he just kind of buys in because you know what? He's tired of it. He's tired of the fan shit. He's tired of being shit on. He's tired of never getting his due. He's tired whatever, all this and that and the other thing. And he turns heel for a huge angle, wins the title. Bam. How much more interesting is everything? Right there.
I like it. I just don't think they're going to do it.
Here's what I think they will do.
I think because the thing that I really like about that too is that I think Ambrose as a face chasing heel Reigns is a Mania main event type feud.
Yes, absolutely.
But I again, my reasoning is the same as not why I don't think they'll scrap Undertaker is because I think Vince sees Reigns as his babyface, his Cena replacement still, and I don't think he's going to turn him.
Man, can you imagine? Holy shit, that cat. No one saw that but me probably because I was talking while it happened. That's unfortunate.
This is the kitten that was eating the wires earlier. In case anybody wants to meet him. That's him.
So, yeah, can you imagine if Reigns turned – because Ambrose hasn't gone heel since the Shield broke up. And can you imagine if Reigns aligned with the Authority and Ambrose is the only guy who hadn't, and he – as good of a promo as he can be, called attention to that, or he, you know, how he reacted after the Seth stuff, if he was just devastated and was like, Roman, dude, of everybody, not you. And Reigns just buried the fuck out of him and was like, you're a loser, bro. Like, you lose all the time. I can't keep running with you. I'm a big dog. Big dog's got to eat. I'm always hungry running with you. Fuck that you know what kind of beer I like. You can't afford it. You're a broke idiot. I don't know. You know what I mean?
But the other great thing about that is that they didn't put a lot of Reigns' NXT stuff on TV. I really think he had like a couple matches and some promos before he was gone, but that was his character. I mean, he was like he was like an MVP, sports free agent, cocky, you know. He could play that role. and Ambrose as the everyman. Yeah, I mean, I think that would be great. I don't think they're going to do it.
No. What I think they will do is they'll run the tournament, and either they'll just go with the clean win for Reigns, and they'll treat it like a crowning achievement, right? He finally did it. This is a huge deal. Can't wait for Raw tomorrow to see the party. Or they'll do Authority screws him out of it. And I don't know, it would be Owens, I guess. I guess it would have to be Kevin Owens. He gets close, and just when he's about to, they screw him over again. If they continue with the thought that he needs to win it on a big stage, like say the Rumble or WrestleMania, then they have to screw him out of it and put it on somebody else. And I guess that would have to be Kevin Owens.
I wonder if all this Taker stuff isn't them trying to maybe get Survivor Series elevated back to being a big deal again, and if they wouldn't like it to be, I don't know. I'm just thinking about this. This wasn't the thought I had before, but they could do it. This is the pay-per-view where anything could happen. This is where the screw job happened. This is where Taker debuted. This is where Roman turned. Whatever. I mean, yeah. I don't know. The other name that I'm thinking of that I don't think they should do anything with, but I can't rule out that they might not, is Del Rio. And I'm not saying he's going to win the belt, but I'm saying I bet he plays a bigger role in this tournament or whatever the story is than we've spent talking about him so far. Because he's not back to do nothing.
Del Rio,
I don't know what the fuck is going on with Mex America, but
what a disastrous idea.
Yeah.
I can't
believe they didn't learn after the first Swagger Del Rio feud. I've never seen an angle crash and burn as hard as that one did. And they're trying to recreate it sort of, but even more confusing. The problem was it wasn't confusing enough.
Yeah. And two is it's like you're going into WrestleMania season. I mean, this is a crucial time. It's fascinating and interesting. There's a lot of intrigue here because of this, but you're going into your most important time of the year. Like, now's the time. Now's the time to get this shit locked in, figured out. Man, if they had Rousey, if they had the Triple H, Rock, Rousey, Stephanie McMahon thing that they had originally wanted, and keep in mind, Ronda Rousey's not ruling out.
She won't stop talking about it. Yeah,
she is fucking dead set on being a WWE diva and winning the title and having a match at WrestleMania. She wants this. And she said she won't ruin any surprise. I don't think she'll do a match. I don't know if there's any way to do that. I think she's filming a movie. She's, who knows? I'm busy, but who knows kind of thing. Anybody could take a fucking flight and show up at a place and then take another flight. The Rock does it constantly.
Yep.
She could be there. Now, if they had that fleshed out and that was worked out, and that's not even accounting for what Brock Lesnar's doing on the show, I think they could take more of a chance with the title. I think they could take more of a chance and not have to worry so much about doing the kind of thing where you put it on a Kevin Owens and then the Mania match is Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns. But right now, I don't know that there's any world that they would be okay with doing that. With Kevin Owens as going into WrestleMania as champ, I don't think they'd do that.
No, I think if they put the belt on him or...
And he's still IC champ. I mean, that'd be...
I think he probably would lose it at by the Rumble. Because I agree. I don't think they want him in the Mania main event. So I think he gets... Whether he's the top, whether he's chasing, he's the first opponent.
No, wait, that's what I'm saying. He wouldn't have to be the main event if they had that worked out.
Right, because you get somebody else wins the Rumble and that guy faces Reigns. Probably, maybe Brock. I don't know. Maybe Cena.
And what does Brock do? And then you still have Undertaker for WrestleMania. So there's a lot of parts that are, Now, imagine being Vince, looking at all of this and trying to think of all of this and going, you know what? I think that guy on the internet was right. I think we should put the belt on Finn Balor. I think that's the right call here. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't want to make fun of anybody or whatever, even though I kind of am. But
yeah.
I'm just saying, please consider. I don't want to say what's best for business, but yeah, dude. Understand that.
Here's what I would say is, even if you're the biggest Finn Balor mark in the world in Brigade 17, I'm looking at you. You're my boy, but you're working the gimmick. That's just a shout out to a cage sider there. Anyway, even if you're the biggest Finn Balor mark in the world, the way to debut him successfully is not out of nowhere as WWE champ.
Yes.
You build him up with a story and an angle and all the stuff that Owens got. That's what you want for Balor if you're a big Balor fan. You don't want him to show up out of nowhere and get put in a position that he wasn't prepared for and will most likely die an ugly death in, metaphorically speaking, of course.
Yeah, there's no. Have they ever done this? Someone debuted and they put the WWE title on him.
No.
I don't think so.
I mean, in the Divas division, yeah.
You can do it with the Intercontinental title.
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, Santino won it like that, right? And I mean, I remember Gail Kim won the Divas title or the women's title at the time. I think out of nowhere, Paige did it. Yeah,
belts that are just belts that you just use them like that. But you don't do that with your main title. You don't make a guy by.
You don't put that on a guy. I mean, that's too much to ask of anyone, especially somebody who is not a great promo like Balor. I mean, he's presence, but
plus, yeah, he's still NXT champ, and I mean, yeah, you could tell some stories there, but you're going into WrestleMania. Your company is at a crucial point in its existence. These decisions are not to be made lightly, and these people only consider the things that are interesting to them as fans. It seems that way, at least. So you have to consider all the things that you are affecting when you make a decision like this. I mean, you could cripple your business. A bad enough decision can cripple your business. That's a big deal.
We talk about this like the decision to turn Austin heel, right? Yeah,
sure. And the company has never recovered. So it's like, and I'm not saying it would be that disastrous necessarily, but you're absolutely looking at a scenario where you cannot take it lightly. And again, man, I mean, you don't just. Someone said, what about Samoa Joe? Dude, get out of here. Someone said James Storm. Yeah, and all 35 people who'd recognize that guy on a WWE main roster. Look, I like James Storm. I think he's great. He's done awesome work in TNA. But there are 35 people who would recognize him if he showed up on the main roster in WWE.
As NXT commentary informed us, he's been on the Indies for the last 10 years. So
yeah, the only person allowed to mention TNA is Sting, and even he's seemingly been erased out of existence.
I mean, I think Joe probably gets a call up out of this, but he's not to be in the main event scene. I mean, I think this might be Joe's ticket to WWE main roster because they might need somebody to fill like Owen's spot.
I don't think they're going to do that either.
Yeah. I'm not saying I'm not willing to say it's a stone cold lead pipe lock or anything, but
you know who's coming back, right? To fill the spot. Well,
shit. I really didn't know who you were talking about.
Recognition.
Man. Fuck.
Already.
Man.
Well, they moved some stuff around. I saw this today, shortly after I woke up. Big Show and Kane is no longer the main event in the European on the Rollins-Kane tour. The new main event is Dean Ambrose versus Kevin Owens, which was switched from the Roman Reigns tour. So now they decided the right call was to Roman Reigns do his thing on his own, and underneath that is the Wyatt family. And then now it's Ambrose and Owens headlining on that one with Kane and Big Show
eventing with
underneath them.
Who's
I have no fucking clue. I did not. Okay. You can look that up real quick, but it's interesting to note that was the thing that they decided was the right call. Which, hey guys, let's give some credit where it's due. Fuck, that might be a post that I'll do where it's like, hey, it's time to give him credit.
Show versus Kane is still the main event, according to this report. Co-main. There's the old co-main. They like that. So they're still hedging their bets. They're not willing to go all in on Owens Ambrose.
Oh, that's whatever. That's that's horseshit. No, the main event's a show match that goes on last. It goes on last.
I know. I just wanted to get you worked up about the co-main.
Stop it. We're supposed to be laughing and we're not laughing.
We're talking serious wrestling business.
Too much pressure.
Not as good.
So
as
yeah,
Balor.
no, but that's interesting to note because it's the two guys that we feel like make the most sense to work with Reigns are now headlining the other tour. So yeah, man.
Reigns he's still working with Bray on the tour.
Oh, okay.
So
there you go. Those are the three. Look at that. All the options that we said, there they are. I mean,
except for Johnny C, but
except for Johnny C. And Cena could come in, and as much as people hate that, if it was me, here's the real shit. If it's me, I'm probably, Wow. It's so funny because, like, I always like to say if I was like a football coach, I would be the Buddy Ryan, Rex Ryan type. Like, I would blitz every fucking down.
You'd be a great coordinator and a shitty head coach. Is that what you're saying?
No, not like that. I mean,
I know.
maybe.
I just like to take shots at Rex.
Right. I'm just saying the philosophical approach to defense, essentially, which is I'm going to fucking blitz your head off and you're going to just have to beat man coverage, which a lot of people would probably do. There's good quarterbacks these days. But I would just be relentlessly pressure the fuck out of you. I'd be super, super aggressive. But if I was running WWE, I would be so conservative. It'd be Marty Ball, dude. It'd be awful because I'd always go back to Cena. I would do exactly what Vince does. I'd be scared to death. And I would go back to Cena.
He's a proven commodity.
I mean, think how much is on the line, Sean. These people, Finn Balor, dude, you don't understand how much is on the fucking line here. Finn Balor cannot cut a promo. I say Roman Reigns can't either. It's not the same thing in any way, shape, or form. There's so much on the line.
Yeah, I mean, but that's ironic though, isn't it? Because Vince's rep otherwise in business outside of booking is that he's the guy that'll do anything. He's the guy that went crazy and just decided to buy out the territories. He's the guy that threw away pay-per-view and went after streaming.
Put on WrestleMania 1 and if this fails, we're fucked, but I hope it works. And then it did.
He's the gambler outside of booking. In booking, this is the way. Well, he still is, man. The network is a gamble. Yeah. The network has paid off, but that was a fucking ballsy move.
It hasn't paid off yet.
Well,
it will.
Right.
But yeah, it was definitely a ballsy move. But yeah, I mean, it's a tough situation because it's like, well, there's a lot online. If you make the wrong call, you could fuck yourself over. You make the right call, you could do something truly special. But
I wonder if like that Austin heel turn didn't make him shy. You know, I mean, that was something that was out of.
And also, nothing has worked for years and years and years. Like Cena, yeah, you know. And things have worked to varying degrees.
Because Cena is just the Hogan model. He just goes back to that again and again and again.
Well,
that's what he tried to do with Ultimate Warrior and with Luger. I mean, he always tries to go back to that. He is a big baby. He wants to book with a big baby face that everybody else chases.
Well, it's been proven successful for him in the past. And you look at it, you go, well, they've had if you think like some do, and they've had their boom periods every 10 years. Right? Late 80s, Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
Late 90s, Austin.
Mm-hmm.
We skipped a boom period from late 2000s, Cena, okay, but not a boom period. Not business-wise. So, I don't know. He has to do something. But what do you do?
I mean, I think we all know. I mean, it's not going to be terribly suspenseful, but I think he's going to put the belt on Reigns. I think he has to.
Well, and heels don't turn business around. You don't turn your business around with someone everyone hates.
Right.
It's just not how it works.
And they've tried doing that for the last 9 months now. So
yeah, right. And ratings are garbage. Well, yeah, they hate the fucking guy. Like that's and that's the thin line that you have to walk between hating him but wanting to watch him and things like that. And I mean,
or you need somebody like Austin that you want to root, that you
I just
take
said
it down. Yeah.
Right. I just said you don't turn your business around with heels. WCW.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The most profitable, like an NWO. But you're not going to get a cool heel faction like that. Not anymore. Vince doesn't like factions, A, and B, we're not. It's just not the right.
It's not that era anymore. Yeah.
You just couldn't.
Today, they would have the NWO would end up being faces by default. They would have no choice.
They would be the New Day, I guess, is the closest thing that we would. It'd be like that. They'd be booked as heels, but a lot of people would like them, and a lot of people would still boo them. But we would still roll with the character alignments as they like when Sting came along, and that people were still they were doing the survey. Hey yo, who came for the NWO, and everyone cheered.
Right.
And then, but when it came time for Sting to win the title, everyone was still 100% behind that.
Well, that's the thing. That's the problem with the WWE heel faction at the top, or a guy at the top, is that, I mean, that's one of the problems with Rollins' reign, is that he hasn't, pun intended, he hasn't had a Sting to chase him. Even when it was actually Sting, he wasn't built up the same way.
Well, Reigns should have been that guy, and in a lot of ways was that guy, and a lot of people just don't want to cop.
But he's still not. I mean, and I'm not even as big a Sting fan as you are, but Reigns doesn't have Sting's charisma.
No, he doesn't.
At least not the way he's been presented so far. Maybe as silent badass from the rafters, he would have had that charisma.
He has Sting has a very likable. You can't help but like him. And then he had a character that carried him.
Right.
The character carried him. So it wasn't that he just the presence that he had. It was just the story they were telling with the character that he was playing within that story. Just worked perfectly. Reigns has great physical presence, and he utterly destroys it as soon as he opens his mouth. I'm not going to get in a big debate with people about, well, he's getting better on the mic and all this. Certainly. You cannot deny that when he speaks, it is not a good thing.
At best, he doesn't screw up. I mean, that's right now the best thing you can hope for when he talks is that things will be right where they were before he started talking.
There will never be a Roman Reigns promo that you refer to when talking about Roman Reigns, other than Botch City. This is real life, Chicago. No, my God.
What about Fairy Tale Theater? People will still talk about that one.
Suffering Succotash. His highlight reel promos are the disasters. And granted, Seth Rollins never cut a memorable promo. The most memorable thing he ever did was call Johnny Manziel Johnny Idiot Face, which should not be on your highlight reel. Let's get real here, man.
It's cheap heat.
It tells you that we were fucking spoiled growing up. For me, I was spoiled, dude. I had The Rock on the mic. That dude had a new awesome one-liner to smack people down with every fucking week.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Austin, one of the greatest promos of all time. I mean, they were loaded up and down. Even Triple H can talk. Back then, I mean, they were loaded up. So it's just like, I don't know, man. It's
double sigh. Whoa.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about him with the belt, and it's just like there's all this intrigue right now, and I'm super excited about what could happen because there's so many things that could happen, and I want to see what does happen. But I'm just scared to death of, okay, he gets the belt, and then, you trot his ass out there. Seth Rollins was trotted out there to die every week, and he managed not to die a full death, but his HP was really low. Every week, his HP was really low. He was exposed so badly that his HP was down there, man, and he was just yapping and yapping. He managed to turn that into a character trait where he's a heel, right. So he can just, I'm just yapping and yapping and yapping and yapping.
Yeah, I am not. Yeah, now that I am not. I do not look forward to months of 20-minute show opening promos from Roman Reigns.
What's he gonna say? What are they even gonna do? What in the fucking world? I don't want this. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, again, business-wise, probably the right call. I mean, he's probably appeals to more people, and I'm certainly not the.
Well, and this is, I mean, we've talked about this before. I mean, it's on Vince and his team to fucking game plan around Roman's strengths. I think he can be the right guy, but you're gonna have to change the model up. Somebody else is gonna have to come out and do those promos, or you're gonna have to stop fucking opening every show with a 20-minute promo, Vince. There's an idea.
Just give the book to Paul Heyman. At least for the Reign stuff.
Never gonna.
And I am not looking forward to this. This is going to be a fucking disaster. And unless they have really compelling heels to work across from him who can carry the feuds.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, they got Owens, but I don't know
exactly
who else.
What Kevin Owens.
Who else is there? Who else is there other than Owens?
Well, you'd have to turn Brock, I suppose. At some point, you go back to Bray.
You think that's possible at this point?
I don't know. I don't think they should.
I mean, unless you bring Daniel Bryan back for him to kill, I don't know how you're going to get. I don't know how you're going to. And I don't say that lightly. I mean, that's not a joke, but I don't know who Brock could attack right now that would get him a heel reaction.
Yeah.
I mean, he was getting cheered in the Undertaker feud. They both were, but.
Well, he got booed a time or two. Well,
but not
hometown, I guess, or home state. Well,
I don't know.
This is going to be a disaster.
I mean, do you turn Ambrose? I mean,
see, that's why I like the idea of turning him heel, and
I agree. I think that's the smart. That would be booking to his strengths.
But again, that's not NWO business changing.
Right.
It's compelling for the story, but what about your business? But you have Brock as the babyface though, so that's what I'm saying too. Is it's like
you got Ambrose. That's the way the characters are established right now, I think it's easier to have Ambrose chase him as an underdog babyface. You've got Brock to chase him. You've got Rollins returns as a face. I mean, because you could get if Ambrose feuds with him on and off, you built the Brock feud for Mania. You could get to where Rollins returns as a babyface to come for what's his.
What Brock?
And like you said, the way with the promos from him and the Authority about how Rollins was the wrong guy. That gets you through next SummerSlam if Rollins can get back for that, which is probably pushing it. But
my thing is, I don't think that they would be willing to admit, and that's what that would be.
Yep, I agree.
Admit that they were wrong.
Yep, that's the Vince thing of I'd rather you whatever it is. I'd rather you boo the guy I want you to than cheer the guy I don't, or whatever the fuck quote that is. Which
is so funny because we're sitting here going, he has to have the level head.
Yep,
and he oftentimes does not have the level head.
He's just stubborn. Yeah, I mean, he's never going to admit that emotion carried him away, but he's never going to admit that he's wrong either.
Sometimes it works out, like the Montreal Screwjob. Sometimes it does not, like the Austin heel turn. Now, fuck.
Do you have Ambrose as Reigns' hype man? That they're brothers, and Dean's got his back. And let him do most of the talking.
What? Holy shit. Ambrose wins the Intercontinental Einer. What the fuck?
You must have read that on the dirt street.
The Intercontinental title from Kevin Owens. Reigns wins the world title in the tournament. 2-man power trip. Babyface style. That would never work.
No. Because they don't have... Where are the fucking heels in this company? It's Bray and Owens, and that's it.
That is a bad. Well, it was Rollins, and he's in an operating room somewhere in motherfucking Birmingham. I don't know. Yeah. You think they flew him home?
I read this morning, backstage sources report.
God.
That he had not left yet, but he was flying back to Iowa, and that he hadn't even scheduled the surgery yet.
To Iowa.
Yeah.
He's going to be in my neck of the woods for the next 6 months.
You should get an interview. Go start doing CrossFit. You'll probably see.
Yeah, okay. Hey, Seth, wait, aren't you that little fuck that published the Zara thing first?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but, I mean, I'm not... Didn't Blaster McMassive think that you're the one who did all this? The Devastation Corporation were really pissed off about this.
I think
there's cost someone their job.
There's a greater likelihood that Seth knows who you are than that he knows who Blaster McMassive is.
Oh shit! No.
All right, we gotta wrap this shit up. What is it? It's like
we do need to wrap it up. It's also funny because we were talking about. I'm not a doctor. I don't know anything. I check my mail.
Mm-hmm.
A doctor.
Yeah.
The doctor people sent a. Did they? You get that too?
Yep.
Yeah, they're trying to interview us. We're doctors. We know about this stuff. We'll answer questions, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to not interview you. There's nothing.
Because we're not journalists. We're fans. If we were
I'm not a fucking journalist. Are you serious?
Maybe we would.
Maybe I'd try to get actual info, but, we just say things.
It's much more fun to say. When this happened to a guy on my football team,
I'll just let someone else report their bullshit info.
Mm-hmm.
Let Randall Ortman pass it along in the rumor roundup. What'd you say?
And make fun of them for it.
No, it's funny because I really like Brian Alvarez. I enjoy listening to his shows, and I like everyone at the Wrestling Observer. I'm certainly not. I mean, Meltzer's solid, and PW Insider's pretty solid as well. I mean, I know they don't like Cageside seats because of a bad relationship with someone in the past that ran the site, but I don't have a problem with those guys. I just think you got to have people. You got to be willing to, if you put something like that out there and you're that unbelievably wrong, and you got to be willing to go, you know what, I was really wrong.
Right.
And in fairness, they framed it appropriately to where it's like, again, you hear, okay, if there are words like likely, apparently, allegedly, shit like that, it means there's nothing concrete. There's no firm information to be had. It's just some shit that's going around, which that's what we put in our rumor roundup, which is a massively successful post every day because people eat that shit up. So I don't blame them for reporting on it because people love it and everyone's just trying to make a buck. That's cool. I don't blame you. Hustle.
And those sites wouldn't exist if you couldn't make money off of them. I mean, you're right.
And the way to make money, as much as people talk shit, scoops, oh yeah, you were wrong, as much as people hate it, guess what? You're clicking on the next one.
Yep.
Backstage talk, and you'll immediately click. That's why they
put 100 comments under a lot of those are people making fun of the backstage talk, but they clicked on it to read it and then make fun of it. So.
It's like the closing of Grantland. Everyone's like, oh, long-form journalism, it's such a great thing. How it's dead. It's such a bad thing. And you go, you know what? If your clicks believed that,
yep,
wouldn't
it would
be
still
dead.
Be there. Yep.
Your clicks tell us. If people criticize, you want to criticize content on sites and things of that nature, understand that you are clicking on these things and you're creating the demand. I'm just fulfilling it.
Because it's best for business.
There you go. If you wanted long-form journalistic stuff out of Cageside, we'd do it. You don't want it. Know how I know? You don't click on it. It's just not how it is. So we're going to keep doing New Day side seats. Sean, why are you filleting the air?
Because I'm excited about New Day seats.
Chicken bobbing his head. Yeah. All right. Let's get the fuck out of here. We've been talking way too long about Well, we got excited about the tournament.
Yeah, we did, and we
realized what TV will look like once it's over.
Yeah, and then you made everybody depressed. Great way to do it.
I made myself depressed.
All right, backstage sources say, deal with it.